Welcome back to this week's episode of Maximum Octane. Joining me today is my esteemed co-host, Mr. Jason Patel, who always keeps things fun. And joining us today is Michelle Wood. And Michelle Wood is ATI's Sales and Service Instructor. We're really excited to have her on because there's so many misconceptions about what a service advisor is, does, all of that. So we're going to get to all your questions. But welcome, Michelle, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited.
Did I hear you say in the intro or when we getting ready that this is your first podcast?
It is my very first podcast.
What?
Okay. Well, this will be your most unorganized and unorthodox podcast you probably will ever be on. So it's probably good that you didn't have an expectation of what to expect coming into this. So
Right.
there's that. And one of the things about Michelle that is so awesome is she's really passionate about what she does. She really loves working with our service advisors and the owners to understand what service advisors need to do. And Michelle, you want to share a little bit about where does that passion come from?
It started early on with me. My very first car I bought with my own money was a 1986 300ZX T-top burgundy.
Oh.
Loved that car. Sat out in the front yard for about 6 months before I could afford to pay my uncle on the side to fix a fuel injector issue. And come to find out, either he didn't put the right injector in or maybe there was 2 injectors bad. I'm not sure which, but didn't fix it. So I had to have it towed to the dealership. And lo and behold, the dealership actually charged me less than my uncle did on the side. So
That's a first.
I
Yeah.
was like, family, nice.
The
That
family
was,
and friends discount.
Yeah, appreciated that. So at that point, I decided that I was going to go into the industry because that was not going to happen to anyone that I talked to that brought their vehicle in for service. That was smart enough to find someone that they could trust and build a relationship with. You know, my money's valuable. Everybody's money's valuable. Quality, on the side wasn't a good thing either because it still wasn't fixed. So that's how it all began. And then I started out at a dealership as a nighttime receptionist, and I worked my way through the accounting department and warranty and DMV titling and sold vehicles and was lucky enough to be accepted in as an advisor with an all-female advisor service department at a Ford dealership.
Wow.
Service director was a female. Body shop manager was a female. Parts manager was a female. And in my opinion, I do believe the owner was probably one of the smartest men because our achievements just went through the roof. So I was 21 when that happened, and that's where I learned all my core values. He sent us out for Dale Carnegie training and always do the right thing. And our mission statement, I still remember to this day. So yeah, super, super passionate about it.
Awesome. That's quite a story to get to where you're at.
Yes. Yeah, I didn't realize how much I enjoyed coaching and training until I was brought on with ATI. I think I found my niche. Isn't that what they call it?
I think everyone finds their niche, whatever, over here, right? And we continue to expand, right? Even the service advisor industry. I mean, there's no niche there anymore, right? There's so many things, so many avenues in the service advisor industry. I think you probably know this better than any of us with all of the new advisors you see coming into a lot of your classes and whatnot. What is something that you feel that when you started out in the industry is completely different now?
That women maybe are accepted a little bit more now. I know when I started, my misconception was I needed to know everything about vehicles and cars, and I did not. I did not have to have that technical background. When you talk to somebody, I mean, you get a good feeling or you get a not so good feeling. It kind of depends on the situation. And, like I said, the core of it is if you're honest and build the relationship, and if you don't know something, that's okay. Just tell them you don't know, you'll find out. Like everything I learned technical wise was from my technicians. If I didn't understand it, I know that I couldn't explain it to somebody on the phone or even waiting in the lounge if I didn't know what I was talking about. So I spent more time some days back talking to the technicians just so that I could understand what they were talking about.
That is such a huge misconception that I have to be a technician or understand to be, and owners, our shop owners have that too when they're searching for a service advisor, and they're like, no, I have to find somebody that was a tech before, understands. And most people don't want to know how the sausage is made. They just don't. We want to eat the sausage. We don't want to know how it's made. There's very few people out there that want to know exactly, how brakes work, and it's a clamshell, and they, close when the hydraulic fluid goes out. They don't want to know. They want peace of mind. They want to know they can trust someone. They want to build a relationship. Jason, you're going to tell me that's another one of my sayings that Jason just starts all my little
Well, the whole
sayings.
sausage made thing. I mean, I get it, right? This is where the majority of people that own cars, they do not care how brakes work. They
Right.
just want them to work.
That's right. 100%. They want to know what's wrong, how
Right.
much, and when can you have it ready? Right?
Is it going to work? Is it going to be safe? And obviously, a lot of people have families as well, right? So this is where I think it's one of the biggest benefits, having that face in the front, that advisor that can connect with people as opposed to connecting with technicians. I mean, yes, they got to connect with technicians too, but we're trying to make sure that the people that are coming, our customer base, our advisors are able to connect with them.
Right.
You have to meet them where they are at, right? And there are, and I'm not saying there isn't anybody out there that doesn't want to know how the sausage is
Right.
made, but I can count on probably less than two hands the amount of times in my career that that's happened, that somebody really, really wanted to understand. And in the beginning, funny story, when I started, I thought people wanted to know, because I was like, look at all this cool stuff I'm learning. I wanted to take them out to the car and show them and explain to them. And they were like, I don't care. I don't care. I was like, what do you mean you don't care? Because that's what people told me. I had to learn all that stuff, and I had to tell people that, and you don't.
Right. You just got to know how to explain.
Yeah. But I guess
So-
maybe one of the biggest differences, answering your question, Jason,
Yes.
I'm sorry, is the digital portion of the courtesy inspections. When I first started, it was all on paper. Now, the repair orders were on the computer. I'm not aging myself like that. We did have computers, okay, and we used them frequently. However, the courtesy inspections, digital vehicle inspections, health reports, whatever your personal shop calls them, were all handwritten. And, there were no pictures, there were no videos.
And I think that's what makes this job, I would say, a little bit easier to come into the industry without knowing about vehicles at all, because the techs are supposed to be doing such a good job, taking all the pictures, writing all the notes, and they're supposed to be selling the advisor technically on whatever is going on that car. So that way the advisor can go and talk to the customer and explain it. Are you seeing a shift in the industry with who all is actually coming into the industry as far as new advisors currently?
It's funny that you asked that question, because I either have advisors from the last 3 months of training. I've had advisors that are 4 to 6 to 8 months in the industry, or have been in the industry for 15, 18 years, or have been a technician for 7 years, and now they're just moving over to the advisor role. So it's kind of all over the board.
And what are you seeing with the more veterans in the industry compared to the newcomers?
They're having a good time.
Are they really?
Yes, the majority of them are having a good time. They're a little challenging when it comes to the newer videos, and going back and checking their numbers, and being able to track things now is incredible compared to how it was before. So when you're doing your digital vehicle inspection, I mean, we can pull up all the percentage of them done versus how many ROs you have, the percentage that are actually getting sent to the customer, the percentage they're actually getting opened by the customer. That's something that, the accountability now is very important. And I think being an advisor, you're running all day long. You feel like you just don't stop until you get home. And you feel like you're doing everything to every single car. But then when you physically look at the numbers and go, oh, I thought I sent every one of these, and you really only sent 60%. And then out of the 60% you sent, 20% opened them.
One of the things that I think is interesting when you talk about the gap between people that have been in the industry forever and then new ones is people that have been in for a long time, and been around before, like the DVIs and the shop management systems really became the version of what they are today. They'll say, oh, it's so much harder today. We have all this other things to do. And then other people are like, I could do this standing on my head. I used to have a book that was this fat, and then CDs and everything else, and handwrite, whatever. Like, are you kidding me? You can just go in now and click on pretty much any shop management system has. If you're going to do brakes, it'll say, do you need fluid? Do you need calipers? Do you need slides? Do you need what do you need? And it gives you all the suggested things to that are packaged around that request and that job, where before you had to manually do all that. So it's incredible the resources today that people have, and they refuse to use. I see some of them, they're like, I don't need that. I don't pay attention. I know what it is. And you have a resource that's giving you a golden blueprint of exactly what to be looking at, so that you are more efficient. And people fight that. And it's crazy, that limiting belief of why fight the technology when it's there to help us and to be a tool and to make us more efficient and
save so much time
Yes.
during your day.
One of the things that I've seen that's really taken the industry by storm is obviously all of the automations. Everybody wants to label it as AI and AI this, AI that. It really is automations, right? There's a lot more things, and this has been around for a long time. It's just now it's a lot more accessible by everyone and anyone. And one of the things, like you said, Michelle, saving so much time. Our follow-ups, all the stuff that we used to have to do manually is getting done automatically, right? It just gets a text sent out, an email sent out, whatever that might be. And then also all of the reporting, right? We have customers that haven't been back in 6 months. Couple of clicks of the button, you have a whole list of customers that haven't been sent back. Couple more clicks, and you can send all of them a text message. Hey, we haven't seen you in 6 months. So a lot of these processes have gotten easier, but I feel like this is also an opportunity for a lot of advisors and a lot of shops to be able to bring that human touch back.
I was just getting ready to say, Jason, I was wondering what you were going to ask me there.
So and that's where my question is to you. I mean, where are some gaps that you're seeing right now that maybe we need to start filling back up?
100% the personal touch, the follow-up text messages, emails, 100%. But to have someone call you on the phone and ask how things went, to me, you can't replace that with a text message or an email. The people that aren't going to want to talk about it won't answer the phone. The ones that do are super surprised. When I was at an ATI shop previously before I came to ATI, I personally called every single customer. And usually the first thing was, uh-oh, did you leave something off my car? I'm like, no, we didn't leave anything off your car. I'm just calling to make sure everything's okay and you were happy with the service. And they were just amazed that anybody even cared enough to call and make sure that they were happy. So yeah, I agree with the text messages and the emails and all that, but there is that human touch that AI is never going to reach.
Well, some of the AI is starting to sound pretty human now. I mean, we got AI calls now and all of that. But once again, still not the same, right? This is where we are able to adapt. We're able to show emotion more and understand what that customer is going through.
One of the things that AI can't do, though, is know that, Jason, last time that you were in, it doesn't track anywhere that, maybe you were going to your nephew's graduation, or you had an anniversary coming up, or any of those things that are special moments in people's lives. And really, no matter where they're going or what special occasion is happening or milestone in their life, there's a vehicle involved, because they're driving somewhere, or people driving to them, they're driving to an airport. There's a vehicle attached to every milestone in somebody's lives. And one of the things that I think service advisors have gotten away from with a personal touch is using, again, the tool, the resource of the management system, and taking notes. And if somebody has whatever bumper sticker, they love golf, or their kids in the Army, or on the honor roll, whatever it is, or whatever they mention to you, to take notes about it, because that's the personal touch. When somebody come in and you can ask them, how did that go? Last time you were in here, you were doing this, or I know this is important to you. We need that. And especially in today's world, nobody pays attention to anybody. Everybody's stuck to their phone looking. There's not personal conversation. And it's truly a gift that you can be giving people, to comment on their personal lives and ask about them. People are shocked when you genuinely ask how someone is out of real curiosity and want to know the answer, not just, hey, what's up? Hey, how's it going? Right? It's
That's
huge.
100%. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the same concept as what we talk about from a marketing perspective. People want to do business with people. I mean, you can be as sophisticated, as corporate-like as you want to be in your small business, and that's great because that's going to help grow the business. But at the end of the day, our customers, they want to still do business with people.
Yeah, and our role playing in a class that we had earlier this week, Monday and Tuesday, virtually, the assignment was to get to know your customer. You know, Mrs. Jones sent in her neighbor. Mrs. Jones is married to Mr. Jones, who enjoys flying, has 2 kids, 2 boys, and I want you to go into the role playing, and I want you to get to know your customer. And they did okay the first go around a little bit. Everybody came out and knew exactly what was wrong with the car and exactly what kind of car it was and how many miles were on the car, and no one could tell me anything about the customer. So we did the exact same exercise about 2 hours later, and the light bulb kind of went off. You know, when we were all talking about it when we came out of our breakout rooms, I'm like, okay, well, what's the customer's name? Oh, I know what kind of car they drive. I don't care about the car. The car doesn't have the problem. The customer standing in front of you is the one that has the problem. We can fix it, but we need to know the customer and find out what they use the car for. So yeah, it's fun. We have a good time, and the students, they really, the light bulb went off the second go round, and even a couple of them after, and they understood that the customer has the problem. The car's a machine. The person has emotions. The car's the machine. So yeah,
And my car has emotions.
your car does have emotions, Jason, just like your hair.
So before we get hate mail from this, we will say, yes, there's an exception of, a whatever very tiny percent that doesn't want to chit chat with a service advisor and is in a hurry or whatever. But that's where your service advisors need to be trained to read body language, to understand. And when you get to know your customer, you get to know whether they want to chit chat or talk about their grandkids or talk about whatever and not. So we're not ignoring the fact. So before anybody's like, they're crazy, what if somebody doesn't want to? If someone doesn't want to speak to you, the service advisors, at least ours that come through us, are trained to read those signs and understand and respect that. So another I think a big myth about service advisors that drives me crazy is that they are not sales. It's not a sales position.
Oof.
So I give and used to give all of my members a survey about what percent of your job is customer service and what percent is sales. And all of them would say 100% customer service. And while I agree with that, but they are also equally 100% a sales person. They're there to sell, and whether that's selling on the idea, explaining however you want to word it. Why do you think there's such a myth that it's not a sales position?
I think that it's such a myth because of the definition of a salesperson. What is your definition of a salesperson? Right? Is it the old car salesman that used to throw the keys up on the building way back when so that you couldn't leave because you didn't have your keys, you had to buy a new car? Is that a salesperson?
That's
Is
pretty
the
smart.
salesperson the one that you're walking through in the mall and they're, trying to spray perfume on you when you walk by? I think it's all in the definition of what a salesperson is to you. And it's 100% a sales position, but you're selling yourself. Not obviously we're selling services and to get the car fixed, but you're selling yourself. If you're genuine, it's a no-brainer. People buy from who they like. That's what I do. If you're not nice to me, I'm not going to buy for you, and I'm probably not going to come back. So I think it's all in what your definition of a salesperson is.
Well, and I think this is also where a salesperson should be able to recognize who they are talking to, right? So, and that's what makes a good salesperson, right? They have to be able to tailor whatever their approach is to the person you're talking to. So, kind of going back on that point about we're trying, people want to do business with people. There's also people that want as much contactless, frictionless experience as possible, right? And this is where we are in such a good spot right now in the industry with all of the resources, the systems that we have in place. If someone doesn't want to talk to anyone, they don't even have to do anything, right? They can drop the car off before hours or after hours. They can get all of the DVI, all the approval, the estimate, everything through the phone. They can get all of that stuff sorted and then pick the car up after hours or before hours. So that person is going to go out of their way to make sure they don't have to talk to you.
Mhm.
So anybody that you are seeing that's coming in or calling you on the phone, that means they want to talk to you. They're making an effort to talk to you. So that's the type of salesperson you have to be. You still have to understand who that person is. You still have to figure out what their issue is, in a sense, not the car, but the person, like you said, Michelle. So
Yeah.
I think we are in a very good spot right now where a lot of the new generation that is coming into the industry, a lot of them, they went through the whole pandemic, right? So everything went virtual, right? Classes, school, college, everything was virtual. We lost that human contact. And believe it or not, they still want the human contact.
They really do. My daughter, as many of the younger generation that are coming in, they're the ones that surprise me, really are not involved in the AI or want to understand it or do anything with it. They're like, no, I want to talk to people. I mean, even my daughter, she's 21, and I was talking about going to class to learn AI and how great it's going to be, and she's like, but what about people, Mom? It's like, I love you. I love you. What about people?
Well, and this just goes back to what we always have seen in this industry and every other industry. When everyone starts going one way, you should still go that way, do all of that stuff, but you have to also go the opposite way. You have to set yourself apart. So yes, AI is great. It's going to help revolutionize the industry. It already
Tremendously.
has. It's going to continue to do so, but we should still be going back the other way and start doing stuff that everyone else is stopping.
100%. I agree.
All right, I got another myth for you.
Okay.
The service advisors and shop owners that think they should not tell a customer everything that's really wrong with their vehicle because they don't want to scare them away or get a bad review.
Oh man.
Yes, and it's so much harder to explain to them the next week or a week or a month down the road. Well, why didn't you tell me there was something wrong with my brakes? Why didn't you tell me I had this little seep of coolant coming from the bottom of my radiator? We are there to educate and tell them and let them make the decision whether they're going to take care of it now or they're going to have a repair plan and do it over the next 6 months. But it's much worse to not tell them. They're coming to us because they trust us. That's what they expect us to do. And it's hard to be a service advisor and, send that estimate or make that phone call when you've got quite a few positive things about the car, but then you have a couple pretty pricey things. And again, I mean, that's our job. That's what we're there to do. The customer makes the decision on what they want to get repaired and take care of on their car. It's condition first, the reason they brought the car in. Second is safety, which is 100% why everybody gets their vehicle worked on, is safety. And then your, preventative maintenance. And the more you take care of all your preventative maintenance, the less bigger repairs you're going to pay for in the long run.
So you see a lot of shops out there and it's like everybody's tagline is honesty, integrity, done once, done right, all that nonsense. And then, many of those same shops withhold information from a customer because they might say, no, that's too much. I'll just buy a new car, or they don't want to get a bad Google review. How many of them with that honesty and integrity in their tagline do you think is honest with the customer and says, yeah, we didn't tell you any of that because we were afraid you'd give us a bad review or we were afraid you wouldn't fix it. Right? It's nonsense. So who or what should a shop owner be looking for a service advisor when they have an opening, a position? What are some of the characteristics? Who are they looking for? Paint us a picture.
So when I was looking to hire advisors, my first impression of being comfortable with that person, you have to have a tone about you that's comfortable. Everybody can look great on paper. You can take every class in the world, you can have every degree in the world. That doesn't necessarily mean you're the right person to talk to someone and that be your job all day long. So there's a skill set that you have to have when you're on the phone with a customer that's upset, that maybe just was making your ear bleed for a few minutes for whatever reason, and then you have a new customer walking in. I mean, you have to be able to shut that down and know, okay, I did everything I possibly could to help and inform that customer. Now I have a new customer walking in. The great thing about being a service advisor is how many times a day do you get to start over because you're talking to a new customer?
Absolutely. What's an interview question that you think an owner should ask when they're looking for potential service advisors or whoever's hiring, whether it's a manager or anybody else? When hiring a service advisor, what's a good interview question they should ask?
Where do you get your car serviced? And why?
That is a good question. I never thought about it like that.
I know quite a few advisors that have been in my classes over the last few months that were customers of the shop, and they worked there because the shop was so good at what they did.
And I think this is something that a lot of people forget when, especially and I talked to a lot of my members about this. No matter who you're interviewing, doesn't matter what you're putting out there, whoever you talk to, whether it's you as the owner, whether it's one of your technicians, whether it's an advisor or even a shuttle driver or even a parts delivery person, any of the people that you talk to can be your customer.
100%.
So this is one of those things where a lot of people, they'll put hiring ads out there and they'll get, a lot of this is AI based as well now, unfortunately, but they will get 50, 60 applicants and then they find the right one and they just ignore everyone else. Now imagine if I applied and I was like, let's say I was the 50th person that applied and I really want to work there because I'm a customer there as well. And I don't even hear back.
Mhm.
I mean, that's going to make me feel some type of way. Like at least a courtesy, hey, the position is filled or something like that. And this is one thing that I think a lot of people are forgetting, that no matter who you talk to in whatever capacity, they can or they might already be one of your customers.
I'm laughing right now because that Jason could even get in his head that he would be the 50th applicant. They wouldn't hire him. I'm not sure how he got there. Like, did that kill you to say, Jason?
It did not. It did not. It happens. You never know. But I mean, it's so true though. We forget
It's
about
absolutely
this.
true.
We are in the people business. No matter what aspect of it is, we're in the people business. So, and you can find an advisor anywhere. I think one of the first things when I first got to ATI, and one of the trainings I was sitting through was that a lot of shop owners and one of our instructors was letting people know, like, some of the best advisors that they've seen come across are from different industries. Bartenders, the serving industry and the
The best one I
restaurants.
ever had was a waitress.
Right.
She was amazing, and she became my service manager, and she didn't know anything about automotive.
This week, I had 2 teachers that moved over into the service advisor industry and the banking industry,
Ooh.
which I was like, really?
I wonder why it must be pretty lucrative for the teachers to give up the summers. The banking,
That's
I could see wanting to get out of
Right,
banking in today's
right.
economy,
Yeah,
but
2 teachers.
that's
Wow.
fantastic. Did they give you any insight what made them want to do that? I mean, they're teaching, right? When you're an advisor, you're advising and teaching. So I never gave that a thought, but that would be a natural transition to be able to you have to meet everybody where they're at. You have to
Mhm.
speak to them on their level. You have to match the tone and intensity of the person you're with. So gosh, I can't believe I didn't ever think of that, a teacher.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, I think it was the younger, under 1st grade.
Definitely more challenging in that aspect.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
could not be
wow.
a teacher with the parents today. I think I could do the kids, but not the parents.
Yeah, and I
For
know that
sure.
there's a lot of rules on what they can teach now and what they can't teach and this score and that score, but they
Right.
don't. Yeah, so I'm glad I'm a teacher with ATI. That's all I can say.
So that's a great tip out there for everybody. If you haven't been thinking about, speak to your children when you're going to parent teacher conferences, or everybody in the family to get the word out. Gosh,
Right.
that's fantastic. I've just not even ever thought of that.
But this is also the opportunity. We have to be able to, and this is something I do it from a marketing perspective all the time. No matter what I'm doing, whether I'm getting food, whether I'm ordering something off of a website somewhere, I'm always seeing what other people are doing, right? Other industries, what are they doing that we are not? Well, how can we adapt this? And this is just the same concept here. Wherever you're at, whether you're at Target, whether you're at Walmart, that one person wows you, have a business card on hand. Hey, if you're ever interested in, exploring the automotive industry, or if you're ever looking for a different, a change in your career path or whatever that might be, there's always opportunity everywhere you look.
That's how I was able to get quite a few of the best people I ever hired, was recruiting them.
All right, Michelle, I have one more myth or misconception about the service advisors and shop owners. And the shop owners that send somebody to a class for a day or 2 days or whatever it is, and they're like, "You be trained," and just expect them to learn everything that there is in a few hours. And the service advisors come back from class all excited. They have all these great ideas. They have all this stuff, and the shop owners are like, "Nope, nope, 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 nope. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not. That's not how we do it here." But the shop owners, the myth is that they think if someone goes to class, whether it's a technician, service advisor, or anything, but since you are our service advisor instructor, they could send them to class and then just never ask a thing about it, never follow up, never do anything. And I don't know, they just expect this miracle thing to happen when they come back. How would you address that?
Again, in the class we just did Monday and Tuesday, the key takeaways, I asked each person for one key takeaway, and they did so well with finding the most important thing in their own individual shop that we discussed that. And I said, okay, I know we've learned a lot. We've talked about a lot. You guys can email me, whenever you need to with questions, but find the one thing that you think will improve the most and see a bigger return on. And that's what they're going back with. So yes, they have this vast amount of information that we've given them, but they each have one individual thing that they want the shop to work on as a goal. One of them was a mission statement. Another one was huddles in the morning. Another one was huddles in the afternoon. So when we talk about it, I don't want them to go back with all these wonderful, great ideas. I do, but I want there to be one particular thing that they have accountability for in themselves, that they're going to make it happen every day. If the owner is too busy or can't do a huddle in the morning, that doesn't mean the advisor can't do it themselves. So I'm not saying do anything wrong, but if you want the huddle and you think it's important to you, hold the huddle. No one's going to stop you from holding the huddle to know what's going on that day, what parts are coming in, what needs to be done at what time. I mean, that's important to you. It'll be important to other people too.
So when somebody comes back from training, what advice do you have for shop owners on how to support them?
You hired them because you trust them. Trust them. You invested in them and they've taken the class. You've put a hardship on the shop and yourself to not have them for 2 days. There's a reason for that. The reason is because you want them to get better and help better your shop. Give them the opportunity to trust them.
I lied. I have one more question. I just looked down at my note. I'm sorry. I lied. I think there's a country song, something about lying, right? I'm sure there's more than one.
There's
country.
more.
I'm sure there's more than one. Investment. So because we have, for us alone, we have, I don't even know how many classes anymore, but in the service advisor realm, the 4, 5, 6, I think, and then there's going to be 7. But many times that I hear from business owners, not just shop owners, but business owners in all kinds of industries, and they'll talk about employees or different things. And I'll ask, when's the last time they invested in them to send them to a class or training? I can't afford to pull them off the line. I can't waste 2 days having them sit in a class. What, as an instructor, Michelle, what do you say to that?
How can you not afford to? If you want to get better, how can you afford not to? If they're willing, I mean, that's 90% of the battle right there. If they're willing to go and learn new things and new ways to try things, how can you not?
And I'll flip that too. Even the advisors that are already phenomenal, this is how they stay phenomenal.
Those are some of our best conversations is with the advisors that have been there, and they're excited when they come in. It's nice to be able to come in and, sometimes they'll say something that'll help a new advisor. They make this connection. They swap emails. I mean, it's incredible what we can do here. They like to learn from other shops because they've kind of been doing it for so long. Sometimes you kind of get in that lull and you need to go back to the basics, right?
Of course.
I mean, if the car doesn't start, what's the first thing you check? Come on, Jason. It's the first thing you check.
Did you turn it off and turn it back on?
Okay, you turned it on.
Well, they didn't start, so how did it turn it on?
Oh, are we really going to go there? Turn it on and engine running? Oh, never mind. No questions for Jason.
It depends on what do you mean by it didn't start. Did it crank at all? Did it make any noise? But
cranked.
Okay, it cranked.
It cranked, no start.
Are you guys getting into how the sausage is made?
Yeah, we are. But go ahead. What's the first thing you check?
Well, first thing I would check, it does it have gas in it.
Bingo. Some people forget that.
They do. They forget. They do forget that. It's kind of funny, the stuff that, yeah, you can spend a lot of time with that on too. For shop owners, one of my pet peeves, I just want to tell y'all, when you're sending somebody to class, you need to set the expectation and let them know that they're a professional and they're representing you and your company. They need to be dressed appropriately. They need to act appropriately. And you're making an investment with them, because your service advisors or technicians or whoever's sending to school class does not know how important it is unless you tell them. Let them know that how important they are to you, and that's why you're making this investment. And so you're trusting them to go there. You have all the faith in them that they're going to do a great job. They're going to come back with information that they can share. And when they come back, regardless of what position they're in with training, have a lunch and learn, do something where they can share with the team everything that they learned. But just, you got to set the expectation for that and follow up when they come back. Don't let them come back after being excited, regardless of what class it is, and just be like, oh, whatever, get back to work. 2 days you're out, or whatever, however many days the class was. Take a moment, actively listen, ask out of curiosity. What did you learn? How did that make you feel? What things do you want to try to implement? Be a good partner for them. You're sending them to class to represent you and to make your business better. So reciprocate that. You have to be an active participant. So I can't believe we are out of time already. So Michelle, any final words for our members? Or any non-members?
I would say
words for anybody.
Just simply care. That's kind of my takeaway this week. Just simply care. It makes it easier.
Wonderful. Thank you. How about you,
Awesome.
Jason?
My main takeaway would be, we are all in the people business. So continue to people everywhere, wherever you're going. You never know who's watching, and you never know if they're going to be a customer, an employee. They might even be your partner one day, or they might buy the business from you one day. You never know.
Never know. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for watching or listening, however you're getting the podcast. And everybody stay safe and make good choices. And we will be back in 2 weeks. Thanks again, Michelle.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Michelle. Bye.